to our third and final presentation. And so we have Ollie Scott and Carolyn McSporran from Blue Light Victoria, who will be presenting on their DASH program, which supports upper primary school students. Carolyn is the Head of Strategy, Insights and Impact at Blue Light Victoria and has a diverse background in the justice and social services sector, having worked across multiple portfolios. She has extensive experience in strategic planning, research and evaluation, as well as stakeholder management. Ollie is a school program coordinator and is a former primary school teacher from the Ballarat region, with a diverse background in education and a passion for youth development. Ollie leads Blue Light Victoria initiatives, including DASH, and is dedicated to providing young people opportunities to discover their passions and values, supporting them to make safe decisions in their day-to-day lives. Thank you very much, and over to you two.
Thanks, Catherine.
Unmute. Still, after all this time, I forget. So I'd like to thank Open for giving us this opportunity to present our program DASH. And just on the previous presentation, I'd like to say to Hazel, I think you've got the best job in the world too. So it sounded absolutely incredible. And I wish we'd had a program like Diverge. I have a neurodiverse child, and yeah, it was pretty tricky during those teenage years. So I'll keep my fingers crossed that your program keeps funding. Anyway, we're from Blue Light. So first up, I'd like to acknowledge country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the unceded lands on which we're all meeting. I'd also like to extend this respect to all First Nations young people, recognising the importance of their strong connection to culture and community. So I'll start off talking, and then Ollie will really talk about our program. So I wanted to start off with who are we? So a lot of people online today probably think of Blue Light just as the discos. You may have gone to them when you were younger, hanging out with friends, dancing awkwardly, fluoro t-shirts and possibly eyeshadow, and, that excitement of being somewhere where your parents weren't. But Blue Light is so much more. So we're now an independent registered charity. We have 18 branches across Victoria. Last financial year, we worked with over 14,000 young people across the state. We also have a partnership with police and emergency services and other community volunteers. So Blue Light has been supporting young people for almost 50 years. Right from the start, in 1976, when police members at Murrelbach held the first drug and alcohol-free disco, the goal was to break down barriers between young people and police by holding an event that was safe. At Blue Light, building strong connections with police and emergency services, local community organisations, and each other in a fun, safe environment remains one of our core goals. Blue Light helps people aged between 10 and 21 years old, and we are committed to inspiring young people to make positive changes in their lives by creating opportunities environments that support their development, well-being, and future success. As one of the only youth organisations partnering with police and emergency services and community organisations, we provide young people with a unique, one-of-a-kind learning experience not offered by other youth programs. This collaboration gives unparalleled opportunities for young people to engage with and learn from pro-social role models, enhancing resilience and personal growth. And just drawing on from one of the presentations before, it's very important that this collaboration with police, emergency services and community organisations is not a hierarchical approach. Everyone participates in the program as an equal and an equal footing. There's no overarching voice from people who others may see as people in authority. So we work with rather than for young people, and we're dedicated to supporting young people dealing with mental health challenges, those from different cultural backgrounds, young people with disabilities, and those who might be struggling with school or have contact with the police or courts. And again, a lot of our participants in our programs, which Ollie will speak to, are neurodiverse. So it's really important that we take that into account when we're delivering our programs. So I'll just shut up and I'll pass on to Ollie because you probably want to hear about the program rather than just Blue Light. Thanks, Ollie.
Hey, thanks, Carolyn. I'm really excited to be talking about one of our programs today, Dash. As a primary school teacher, this program stood out to me right from the get-go, so I left teaching to come and do this, and it's been one of the best decisions that I've made to be able to get out to more young people around Victoria, which has been fantastic. So Dash is our primary school program. It's targeted at years 5 and 6 students, and it's written in such a way that it holds some of the personal and social capabilities of the Victorian curriculum as the footing for it. Like all good things in education, that we love an acronym. So the acronym of DASH actually stands for Dynamic, Active, Safe and Healthy. So we have in our learning with the young people, it's dynamic, experiential, it's inquiry-based. It's designed to influence a process of growth and change in interaction throughout a range of different activities that we do. We provide a space and a platform where young people can have an active voice and become active citizens within their local community. So we want a pro-social involvement in local community, and we want a social competence and personal competence of these young people to be lifted, as well as some really strong interpersonal connections that we work with, that we support them in creating along the way. And we want them with all of that to become the change makers and have a voice in their community, because quite often these young people don't feel heard. They don't feel like their opinions matter or their voices make a difference. The S in Dash is about safe communities. So we want them thinking about how they can be making safe decisions and learning new strategies for dealing with some risky behaviours or uncomfortable situations. But most importantly, fostering safe and protective connections. So that's where we have our young people working with Victoria Police predominantly, but we also bring in a range of other emergency services. We've worked with 000, Ambulance Victoria, SES, and CFA, as well as the Australian Federal Police. We'll also look at other local community organisations that we can work with, such as council and stuff. The H is all about healthy engagement and healthy attitudes. We want these young people to consider where their mental well-being and resilience can be developed. We want to establish positive relationships amongst themselves and amongst adults in their world, but also we want to help them learn how to develop some of their emotions and manage their social skills as well. And all of that comes into fruition through working on common goals and finding commonalities that they have to be able to make that difference in their community. Thanks, Carolyn. So Dash takes our young people in 5-6 on a 9-week journey. We learn about community, values, strengths, responsibility and empathy, but also putting a creative sort of change and creative aspect spin on things. I mentioned before, it's about being meaningful and protective. So we want to have these protective partnerships to be able to offer young people a sense of belonging in that, not only their little community of their school classroom, but in the broader community and where they live in their local community. And we do this through the use of our community partners in our program. They come along to different sessions. They might engage in a Q&A with young people. They do everything from building a spaghetti tower to having jokes and playing games to asking deeper questions to be able to elicit some responses from the young people that get them thinking about what's really important to them and where their passions lie. At the heart of our Dash program, it's about the development of a student-led community project where the students need to try and find some sort of creative solution or creative action that they can take to be able to help improve something in the community, whether it be something to do with people, places, or the environment. But we want them to look for innovative new ways to be able to look at that and take different perspectives and make a difference, whether it be big or small. With these community projects, they participate in a student showcase at the end of our program. So in the 8th and 9th week, they have to present what their project proposal is to a range of people. And from that, there's a winning project. The grant funding that we have for our programs allows us to be able to provide a certain amount of money to each winning project in each program that we deliver, and allows them to implement their proposed actions for the community. So they can not only feel like their voices are being heard, but they can actually see their actions taking place, and they can point that out in the community and have some pride and ownership over it when they're sharing with their family or their friends, or, you know, the aunt and uncle that visit from out of town, and you're like, hey, look, we did that. So it's a really cool concept that we have with our DASH program. Thanks, Carolyn. So I mentioned before that we work with a range of emergency services through our DASH program. Not only the emergency services, but we also have people from Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action, which you might know as DECA. It was DELT before that. And they bring with them a sense of being able to talk to young people about the environment and about forestry stuff and bushfires as well, cleaning up, things to do with the environment, which is really important because it's where a lot of young people are thinking in some of our programs. We've had the Surf Lifesaving Club come along, Veolia, which sounds interesting to have a rubbish bin company come to our programs. But the concept around this is environmental services. So many young people, when given the opportunity to think about what's important to them and how could they make the community better, will come down to a few key things. It'll be around littering and how they hate it. It'll be around protecting animals in some way, sports and unsportsmanship behaviour in their local sports that they play, and homelessness. They're the probably 4 key things that come up for young people, but there's a whole range of things that come up too. So we have people like Surf Lifesaving, Veolia, local councils, historical associations, and other community neighbourhood houses and local committees. You can see here in this photo, we've actually got a local police officer and a local CFA officer that have come from Bannockburn to work with some of the students in our programs. And the CFA officer actually went on to work with another 5 or 6 programs that we delivered to that school and helped out with a couple of the projects that came about too. You'll see him in a video that we'll play shortly. Over the course of the DASH program that's been running since 2022 until the end of June this year, we've delivered over 125 DASH programs to schools along or in all areas of Victoria, basically. We've been in Ballarat, Bannockburn, we've been up along the Grampians region, Halls Gap, as well in Ararat, Beaufort. We've also worked out in East Gippsland, as well as the city of Melbourne and Kinglake region. We've reached over 2,635 young people, and we're still delivering more. We've still got programs happening as we speak. This group of delightful young humans are from a local regional school, and this is a follow-on effect from their project, from the program, the DASH program. This was actually not a project that they designed in the DASH program. This is a project that they come up with about 6 months after I'd finished the program at their school. They went to their principal and told her off about throwing her coffee cup in the rubbish bin when it could have been recycled in some way. And if they put their DASH hats on, they could think about that a little bit more. So she sent them away and said, come to me with what your explanation is about this. And they decided that all coffee cups from the local cafes could be reused, little plants could be put in them, and then they sold them to the local community and raised money for the Good Friday appeal. So they took this project on themselves without us being there in delivering in their school. We'd already done the program. So the flow-on effect from DASH has just got so much potential, and these young people have really taken that on board. It was quite exciting to hear about. Yeah, I see the comment there from Rachel, building a generation of innovators. It's absolutely amazing, yes. We'll just take about 3 or so minutes now to show you our video and get a little bit more insight into what DASH is.
Dash is a fun and interactive program that's delivered to grade 5-6 students. It aligns with the Victorian curriculum and it runs across 9 weeks throughout the term. Dash takes students on a journey, learning about community, values, strengths, responsibility and empathy. The students are encouraged to ask deep questions, solve problems and work together to learn about themselves and their community.
Schools should participate in Dash because it provides a safe and open space for students to express their thoughts and feelings about issues in the community.
Dash benefits young people by providing them the opportunity to develop their skills in collaboration and working with one another, as well as to build their confidence.
As part of our program, we engage with a number of different services, including emergency services. We also engage with local community councils that come along to our program and engage with the students. They become learning partners along the way.
The kids have no idea who the people are. They're dressed in their civilian clothes, so to speak. And last week we had a police officer come in. The kids were interacting with him. It's looking, what's this guy doing here? And by the end of the session, he actually revealed who he was. And the kids were like, oh, he's a policeman. But he was really a nice bloke. It actually humanised the role because a lot of them didn't actually know any police people as such.
If we're touching base with 20 kids at a time in a classroom and talking to them about what they want to talk about, it makes the work that the youths do valued. It's a really worthwhile program. I can see so many benefits.
For us as a community organisation, sometimes it's hard to connect with the kids in our town because we're not directly involved with the school. A program like Dash, which actively seeks community partners to be involved in it, is really important because it's it's a conduit, it's a way of connecting both with the student community and the schools themselves.
Participating in the Dash program as a community partner provides the opportunity to discuss with a group of young people what some issues in their community might be, and assist them in developing some ideas around how they can solve those problems in their community.
At the end of the program, it culminates in a student-led project where they share their issues they've identified and what actions it is that they'd like to change in their community.
My favourite part of Dash was getting a chance to win and donate to the CFA to help them upgrade their gear and stop the fires.
Organising this 5 fundraiser event and then it actually coming to life.
Showing people the change I want to do in the community.
So that was the sort of, I guess, the gist of our program. You saw there towards the end, there was a project called Bushbusters, which was the CFA truck. And the comment at the end of that video was that often, in fact, it's not a general rule of practice to have young people go for rides in the CFA vehicles, in the trucks. But we actually, with this winning project, it was going towards the local CFA station getting an upgrade in some of their equipment because they just had a bunch of fires out that way. And so the local CFA officer that you saw that spoke, Dale Smitherman, he actually requested to his big bosses to have some children in it. And part of their project was to raise money, and doing so, when you bought a sausage, you got a raffle ticket, and the raffle ticket was drawn. I think they drew 3 tickets every half an hour for a couple of hours, and those 3 tickets got to go for a drive in the fire truck, which was parents and kids as well. And it was just amazing to see at their local market. It was amazing to see the smiles on the kids' faces, but the big kids, the adults that were driving around in the fire truck too, it's like they had all their Christmases come at once. This is a list of over 100 community projects that we've had come to fruition as part of the Dash program so far since September 2022. They're ranging from anything with mental health and wellbeing to connections, bushfire prevention. The homelessness was a big one. And I mentioned earlier, environment was massive for a lot of our young people. Diversity and inclusion's been brought up, as well as crime prevention. So depending on the funding that we receive, depends on the kind of theme that we follow for our projects with our young people. However, a lot of it still comes down to these young people deciding that mental health and wellbeing, environment and homelessness and animals are in amongst there. Thanks, Carolyn. Here are three just to sort of stand out a little bit, and the ideas that these young people are coming up with, and keeping in mind that these students are 10, 11, and maybe 12. So the ideas are completely generated by them. We don't go in to deliver our program and tell them what they must do as projects. We let them brainstorm. We let them think about what's common in amongst their values that they have and what they could do to be working together. And then they come up with the projects themselves. So we had one school, they wanted to help new students who may have faced trauma, give them some welcome boxes. So this is one of the new preppies. This student hadn't started the year yet. He was a kinder student, came along to the school. The student's project was to put together all these boxes, and he was a recipient of one. And they had enough money in their winning prize to create, I think, $1,000 or just under, no, sorry, they had $1,000, but they created about 300 boxes. And it's a school of 56 students. So they're going to have welcome boxes for years to come. The scavenger hunt up install, that was a mental health one. So again, just to try and be mindful and think about, sorry, comment just popped up, and think about connections through mindfulness and mental health education. And then the homeless sleep pack was one of many homelessness packs that came from a variety of schools across the state. This was donated to a local, I think they're called Street to Home here in Ballarat, and they went out and the Street to Home people went and hand delivered them on Christmas Eve. And these bags also included, the kids were very thoughtful, a little soft toy for anyone that might have had a young person that was homeless as well. So it was very, very touching. I think that's, back to you, Carolyn, very quickly. Sorry. I could talk for years.
Yeah, he's very passionate, which is great because it comes out when he, because Ollie still delivers a lot of the programs. So we just wanted to quickly share some of the evaluation. So we were lucky we secured a grant to actually have an external independent evaluation over a couple of years. The evaluation found that Dash is emotionally and psychologically safe and promotes an atmosphere of inclusion and connection. And the evaluation also found that it supports a sense of connection community through the community partners. I'll just go through to, so we collect pre and post surveys, and some of the surveys have free text in, so I won't bother reading them, but I'll let you read sort of some of the free text from our students. And over the course of the evaluation, 90% said that Dash made them feel like they were part of something worthwhile. And it's really good that, you know, comments there are saying that they actually feel like they had a voice and they could make a difference. We also survey teachers, and again, from the evaluation, 100% of teachers said that they would recommend the program to other schools, which is a fantastic result. They also nominated students' increased understanding of community participation as one of the most valuable aspects from participating in the program. And aside from the benefits for students as well, the feedback was that the program also provided an opportunity for the school to connect with families and the broader community itself. And our community partners as well, 100% of them also agreed that they were able to get to know the students and communicate well with them. Several reported that the program altered their perceptions of young people and the capabilities of primary school children, which is a good thing. And feedback also said they saw a significant outcome was providing young people with agency to feel that they can have an impact in their community and influence what might happen in the future. Interestingly, the program also generated benefits for community partners that was not directly part of the design of Dash. Some reported strengthened connection to community for them personally, including through forming connections with other community partners. Others mentioned that the program seemed to increase students' awareness of different community services roles as a career path and highlighted the importance of community volunteering. And that's it for our presentation. Happy to take questions on any elements.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I think the program really shows just the power of holding space to harness the creativity of young people and the power of actually giving them agency in that process and what can, like the great things that can kind of come out of that. We don't have a long time for Q&A, unfortunately, but we do have a question in the chat and from Rachel Goff just asking, are the program team looking to build partnerships with other local organisations?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, depending on where our DASH programs are currently being delivered, we're always looking for new connections to partnerships to be able to come and participate within the program, if that's what you meant, Rachel. So coming along, being part of the session, working with the young people, having those conversations, and or potentially supporting one of the projects that might come out of it. So currently we're in Creswick in the Ballarat region here. But we have programs up in East Gippsland as well that are happening at the moment, and we're looking to have some more programs happening in Torquay, Colac, and the City of Melbourne, hopefully early next year. So definitely looking for new partnerships all the time. Yeah, thank you. Oh, you're in Ballarat too. Excellent.
Yeah, you might need to have a chat.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Well, we're out of time, so I have to wrap it up there, unfortunately. But thank you so much for that presentation.
Thank you.
It's awesome to see all the cool work that's going on. Gives me makes me a little bit giddy. The programs and projects that are out there to platform the young person's voice and build that sense of social connectedness and really give young people and children the power, hand the power back. Now I'd love to pass back to Sarah Ryan, that marks the conclusion of the session. I want to say a massive thank you to all of our presenters. I think the conversations today have been really interesting and provided a great snapshot into what a healthy collaboration with young people can really look like. So if we can welcome Sarah back to the stage.
Thank you, Catherine. All I can say is wow, what a week and what a session that was. Thank you so much to all of our presenters. As a former youth worker who has run programs that have had similarities across each of these programs, including a basketball program in the western suburbs here, and as somebody, Hazel and Annie, who grew up in Wodonga, this has really been quite moving for me, both personally and professionally. We have seen an incredible range of presentations across the whole 4 days of this symposium. A huge, huge thank you to all of our presenters and audience members, especially for bearing with us through various technical issues along the way. Thank you for keeping calm and carrying on with us. We have crossed so many different aspects of the work of our services, so much that has inspired us and to follow up on. It's hard to focus on the standouts because they have all been standouts, quite frankly. Know, though, that we will release the Open Symposium presentation recordings on the Open portal. So if you do have a favourite one or you missed one, please look out for that. Links will be distributed to all of our ticket holders. Of course, with events like these, we love to learn about others' work, be inspired about what we can try in our own part of the world. But most of all, we hope that with our open events that we provide the opportunity and impetus for you to reach out and build relationships and networks, to look for opportunities to collaborate and work more closely with each other. After all, the N in open stands for network. As what's comes through today in many of the symposium presentations across the week is creativity, inspiration, and the power of collaborating across programs and organisations. Thank you to all who have helped make this happen today and all week. We are hoping to work with you all to continue to build on these collaborative opportunities. Thank you for the great day today. And once again, thank you to our wonderful sponsors, VACA, Anglicare, CSNet, Berry Street, Impact Initiative, and WCIG. And lastly, thank you again from our open team to you all for actively participating in the network. If you want to get more involved, please reach out. That is it for today and it for the whole symposium. Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you in future activities.